trial, we're about to go into a whole new venture. People don't even know the information that they're about to receive on the other end. Y'all going to hear it here first with me and Rain. We're going to cover it with y'all. We're going to start off with the news that actually came out about Karmelo Anthony. They do have his phones. There's been some leaks coming out of text message threads that the former team knew about, but they didn't want people to talk about. So we're going to talk about this and just see how it goes. Eric said it's a good start, but no total victory. I agree.
Because they're in court this morning on Karmelo Anthony on the defense motion to get him a new trial, saying that.
And just to let y'all know, I do not agree with Megyn Kelly. They just bring a lot of facts, but Megyn Kelly is definitely against him getting anything. So just listen to the facts that they're bringing up. Don't really pay attention to her rhetoric, okay?
There had been a gentleman's agreement that
she's a young version of Nancy Grace.
Weren't going to do character evidence at this trial, and the prosecution somehow violated that by making some passing reference to like what Austin Metcalf liked to do or what Karmelo Anthony liked to do for fun. It's such a Hail Mary by the defense. But something big happened in court this morning when the prosecutor got up and did not deny that there was a gentleman's agreement to not go to the character place on either the accused, Karmelo Anthony, who stabbed and killed Austin Metcalf at a track meet for absolutely nothing. Austin told him he had to leave Austin's team's tent, and Karmelo Anthony instantly stabbed him. Or Austin Metcalf. They both sides agreed we're not going to do character evidence on either the defendant or the decedent. And the prosecutor got up there and said, we did have such an agreement, but let me tell you what we would have introduced had we gone there. It would have been like, because now the defense is like, we should have been able to do that. If we're going to do that. We could have talked about what a bad person Austin Metcalf was. And he's like, how about Karmelo Anthony, the actual defendant? Here's what I had in my back pocket. He says, first of all, Karmelo Anthony's girlfriend, Valeria, would have testified that she went to school the morning of the stabbing, April 2nd, 2025. And she told school officials that she had broken up with Karmelo Anthony and that he was stalking her. So this had happened that morning. 1 hour later, Austin Metcalf was dead, according to the prosecutor. Clearly painting a picture of this kid, so-called Karmelo Anthony, who was a hothead, who was angry that morning in some level of emotional distress and turmoil already at the time he showed up at the track meet. It's starting to come together, that hair trigger he had. But here's the real headline. So first of all, he texted the girlfriend, I'm low-key on the verge. He texted her the morning of the stabbing. The verge of what? We're not sure exactly. However, the prosecutor says Anthony had a history of violence and that he wanted to stab someone. Quote, there is a text message where he fantasizes about stabbing someone and licking the blood off the blade, he said of Anthony. He was obsessed with starting fights, said the prosecutor, and he was prepared to prove that, revealing Anthony had previously been taken by his parents to a special program at LSU for kids who cannot keep their hands to themselves. Mm-hmm. He went on to say, let's see, there was one other thing suggesting that there was previous aggressive behavior and text messages about a knife in particular. That came out a little bit after. So all of this is deeply disturbing and would not have helped Karmelo Anthony at all, Arthur. So what do you make of it?
Well, first of all, this type of evidence usually only comes out if the defendant's going to testify. You can't, unless it's absolutely relevant. Now, maybe the part about the girlfriend going that day, because that's relevant, right? That's within hours of this happening. That may have come out, but it didn't. And I mean, that's the thing, the difference between a jury and a judge. The judge at this point, you could let it all hang out. And Megyn, I mean, I think Hail Mary is the term used. I would say a miracle. In other words, they made a passing reference to him being not a nice kid, but they really had a tremendous amount of ammunition. He kills a guy with a knife, and they have text messages of him dreaming of stabbing something with a knife and then licking the blood off his blade. I mean, this case is not going anywhere.
Yes.
And it's a new judge, right? They wanted the judge recused. He wasn't going to be fair and impartial. Good. I'm happy. There's a new judge with a clean slate, and I'm sure this judge is going to be like, okay, I think everything went well at the trial.
Yes, exactly. Because it seems like a no-brainer that, this Karmelo Anthony does not deserve a new trial. This is the new judge. They got rid of the old judge because he gave an interview to the press, Dave, and made all sorts of statements of like, I think my ruling on allowing them to strike those black jurors was correct. I think the jury verdict was correct, and was saying a bunch of stuff that it's very rare that we see a judge give interviews like that. And the defense made the most of it and said, you need to recuse. He didn't recuse. He got bounced off of hearing these motions by an independent judge they brought in to evaluate the motion. And now the judge has been bounced. But the new judge doesn't exactly seem like a softie, Dave. He's lifelong Republican. They don't tend to be softies on the bench. He also was very well respected when he was on the bench. He only
Do y'all hear the language that she's using? Sheedy is not what we needed on the bench.
retired in 2020. And he's got some history of actually increasing sentences when they come back around before him. So I'm not sure they're going to like the new judge any more than they like the old judge. What do you make of all this breaking news?
Yeah, be careful what you wish for.
Factor?
Be careful what you wish for. You know, you got the new judge, same as the old judge, right? It's this guy's going to be very tough.
Do y'all see this? Do y'all see this?
I do think it was the right decision to bounce the old judge, because he did give a press interview where he said that he thought the jury got it right with the guilty verdict. Okay, well, the standard is whether it creates a reasonable expectation of bias or an appearance of partiality. And yeah, when you're asking for a new trial, when the judge has already prejudged it, it's good to get a new judge. And that's good for appeal, so they can't keep this going on any longer, because the evidence is overwhelming against Karmelo Anthony. And when they say, well, we had a deal with the prosecutors not to put on evidence about the character of Karmelo Anthony, all this other stuff, and then that's why we didn't put on our client, Karmelo Anthony, because if we had, then the prosecutors say they were going to go after him for character. Well, now we know the real reason why they didn't put Karmelo Anthony on the stand. It wasn't because of a deal with prosecutors.
Yes.
It's because they had some smoking gun evidence about his text.
Rain, you want to let them know what you just put in the chat so they can know what they'll be clicking on?
So that right there is the information for the trial, the official trial transcript from June and July. I think it was in July. So yeah, and it shows all the court orders that they have and everything, all the exhibits, the photos, the audios, everything that you need, that you want to see evidence-wise, that the court is allowing us to see, the public to see, is on that link right there.
Yeah, and I know you guys are saying it's not on the record. We know it's not on the record. That's why they did the back handshake, but it all should be in that information that she just posted. So again, I will highly encourage everybody to go read or at least take a glance at it. Again, like I told you guys, I'm not a fan of Megyn Kelly, but they are going to give you the information. I always tell people, if you really want to know what's the ingredients, go to the people who are making it. They're making it. They're already creating this new narrative. They're already creating it. And they cheered about the judge that I just told y'all he was horrible. They're already putting him, oh, he's worse. He's known for getting people more years on the sentence. Like, that's not what we needed. That's not what we needed, y'all. We're going to keep a close eye on it, man. We're going to keep a close eye on it. We're going to read some of these chats, and I know Rain also has some information about the Metcalf family side of things. So we're going to go here.
The script said accused. And they also said, where is the proof of that? Penny said, as I always want to call mental stability to character into something when little physical evidence. Flip the script said, I do not like Meg because it's not a record. There's no record of it. Accusation. Penny said, the girlfriend and dreams is hearsay. Ari said, why this didn't come out before now? She sounds like she's already made a judgment.
Yeah.
Flip said, harsh, shady. I like concrete proof. Penny said, Soul's got his ex-Fox newscaster. got this ex-Fox newscaster. Penny said, definitely not a smoking gun. Flip said, Mark Howard backed down on the background out of his own personal bias, thinking something was on these accusations. Superman said, I find the more money and sophistication is concentrated, the easier it is to find the worst of humanity.
That's true. That is true, Superman. We agree today, sir. That is very, very true. That is very, very true, man. We shout out to everybody who's in the chat, man. But just wanted to show that. I wanted to show you guys that hey, all my wrenches, go ahead and get those, certain ones out of there. We appreciate you. But yeah, they are creating. They are creating a narrative. that they want us to run with. So yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be tough. We definitely gonna keep stay abreast to this whole thing.
Okay.
Penny, you're right. It is a good old boy judge selection process. But you know what's crazy? Everybody who was cheering yesterday and today about the recusal gonna be 2 weeks late when things don't go the way they want it to go, and then they're gonna be talking about the background of the judge. I'm just trying to get it out in front of y'all so that if something doesn't go the way you want it, we already knew what was going on. Like I'm trying to eliminate trauma. I'm trying to stop it before y'all hit it head on. Like, that's why I say I don't cheer for those, man. I'm happy that the recusal happened, but I'm not happy about the judge that they put in the place of Roach. It just wasn't a good look. I don't know how Mr. Russell looks at it. I would hope he start doing some post interviews, or maybe we'll get some information from him. Again, he's a great lawyer here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. His team is great as well. So hopefully we get to hear something from him for sure. She said they're all connected. Yeah, it's a tether, right? That's what we call it, right? Tether.
Yeah.
Did you want me to bring up this one, or you? Or I think
you can add it. I'm gonna read it too, but you can add it. Yeah.
Is this it? I think this is it. I'm gonna bring it up. Let me see here. Is this
It's
the one
from
you got right here?
The U.S. Sun. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it first talks about what we just learned about Karmelo. But then on down in the article, it says, meanwhile, Metcalf also has his encounters with law enforcement, according to documents shown in court. Metcalf and his twin brother Hunter received a 12-month probation sentence in connection with a graffiti incident where they expressed racist and anti-Semitic language. The brothers were once caught spray painting graffiti that read "Triple K" and "Kill All Blacks" and "Hail Hitler." Mike Howard, Anthony's trial attorney, testified to that on Thursday, which is today, y'all. He added that when the twins were approached by police, Metcalf told them that he and his brother did some dumb stuff, and we did some vandalism. Metcalf also had a history of using the N-word freely in messages with his friends, Howard said. Records from 2023 showed Metcalf bullied another black student but was not disciplined. A month before he was killed, Metcalf was ordered to stay away from a different black student he was accused of bullying, Howard told the court. Several parents of cheerleaders at Frisco Memorial High School, where the twins attended, said their children were afraid of Hunter and Metcalf. And back in 2018, when the twins were in elementary school, they were hit with assault charges. Elementary school, hit with assault charges for bullying a female student. The background report on Metcalf was more than 20 pages long. During Thursday's hearing, Werski said Anthony was supposed to testify at trial in his defense, but backed out for unknown reasons. So his lawyer now says it would have been the cherry on the top for the prosecution. I don't know why he didn't testify. I wish he had. Yeah. So
there you have it, man. So they both have a pass.
Yeah.
And these things were already known beforehand.
But they did that gentleman handshake.
Yeah, they did that gentleman handshake, and the parents were aware.
Yep.
We covered this already. The parents were aware of this new information that they had at their hand. And that's the first time why Karmelo didn't take the stand, because he didn't want to. But as I mentioned to everybody, I would have took it. I would have felt that my passes don't equal that pass. I might have some discipline problems and went to a program. I mean, who haven't? I went to one for 20 years called the military. Like I mean, at the end of the day, you can look at it however you want to look at it. Supermax said concentration of power legally and social political power within a judgeship. They probably horrible people in general, like maybe 1 out of 10 if you're lucky. I agree with you, Supermax. Super Mac, I know you in a little late, but I know you'll catch the rewatch like you always do. I appreciate your support. But I want you to go back and see the news that I already brought up about the judge, man. The judge is not solid at all. It is not a win at all, dog. Aries said they twin behavior was not exposed at the trial. It was a cover-up. It wasn't a cover-up, Ariel. They agreed.
Yeah, they agreed to not expose
Like,
it.
it's not a cover-up. They agreed. They both sides, the accuser and the defense, both agreed.
It's a 20-page document.
It's a 20-page document. They agreed upon these things. Penny said, I pray they get him presentable before he go out and not just have him in a jumpsuit and cuffs. Yeah, they took they did take the shackles off of him each day. From again, I don't even know her, but I just like her content. If you guys get a chance to go over to the Fit Lawyer ATL, she talks about like his appearance. He's very thin right now, she said, way thinner than he was when he went in. His hair is pretty high again, of course, because they shaved it all off, but it looks like it's growing back. The pictures that they have of him in court was horrible. Like it made him look like he aged like 40 years. I don't think he looked like the art they were presenting. But again, and I do want justice for Karmelo. But I will tell you guys, my justice looks like a lower jail sentence.
Yeah.
It was a bad decision or a bad outcome. With that being said, I hope that they can get the right message, but I just don't feel positive about it. I don't know how you can take a judge that left the stand on a very unpopular note and expect him to come back in and give us what we want. Like like Megan said, he's a Republican, and they hard on that type of stuff. Like, so I don't know, man. I wish I could speak to Mr. Russell Wilson, man, and be like, hey, there was nobody else we could get. I'm gonna do some research, and I hope y'all do the same. If anybody out there do some research, I don't know if it was other judges available, or do they go to a pool that says who's eligible to be pulled for certain cases or what? But I'm not a fan of this one right here for sure. That's why I got with Rain today. I was like, we gotta cover this because this is not right. Aries said, why would Karmelo parents agree to that? Just asking. Oh, you go, yeah. So the last day of Karmelo's trial, they offered him an opportunity to get on the stand to testify. Karmelo and his team initially said he was only given 10 minutes. Later, court documents stated that he was given more than 10 minutes. It was about 30 minutes to half an hour. The judge has it all documented that he spoke with Karmelo and his parents all together. We covered this as well. And they agreed to not do it because the prosecutor kept telling them, like, hey, if he goes on the stand, we're going to talk about the character. We have to talk about his character. We have to ask him these questions. And he chose not to go that route. And I mentioned it, Rain mentioned it, we all mentioned it on our show, that I think he would have had a better chance. I think hearing that a group of white kids were racist, using the N-word, spray painting buildings with KKK, and I don't know how somebody could overlook that if that was the character reference. Like, not saying that it's going to justify the end result that resulted in somebody losing their life, but I think it could have made the person look more of a threat. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody has a possible DV background, it's going to look a little different when they find out they beat up somebody and this person finally turned them in. It's just going to look different. I think it would have looked different if he was able to do it. But again, I can't fault families for not being aware of the system, y'all. And that's why I always talk about the system. And some people think I'm wrong, but I always tell people that if we don't educate ourselves about the system, we'll never be able to even operate within the system. There's no way to manipulate something if you don't even know how it works. So I'm a big component of that. I'll be covering it later this weekend. 19 Keys talked about that too with Earn Your Leisure, about us as Black people need to understand that we have to learn all the systems. We must know the systems. We keep saying that it's a system that's against us, but we don't know every in and out of the system. You know what I mean? We don't know the loopholes that they know. Like they're using them, guys. We're seeing it in real time. We're seeing all these agencies use their loopholes in real time. You know, me and Rain will be covering back on our town hall tomorrow about, you know, the Nolan Wells stuff. You know, there's a lot of people now coming out speaking about the dogs that the parents didn't want to use and the cell phones, and everything's coming out now. And it's like, we have to learn to get ahead of these things, especially when we know that we're already behind the curve.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts, Ram? I'm sorry I got on my soapbox.
I don't know. In the end, my wish is that he gets another trial and that these charges, of course, he won't be able to be charged for the same charge, but he gets a lesser charge. And I hope that they use all evidence, all background information, all character traits. You know, of course, the information that was given today on Karmelo, I would think doesn't help. But with the information given today on Austin, it, to me, and this is my personal opinion, all alleged for content creation purposes, so don't come back at me for it. But to me, it shows a better justification for self-defense. And even if it was self-defense and they still charge him for something like involuntary manslaughter with a lesser sentence, you know, it gives you have that there. So I'm still not understanding why this wasn't used in the beginning, you know. So hopefully Chitty, I was going to call him something else. I had to think about it. Hopefully Chitty does the right thing, gives him a retrial, and is unbiased in all of that. And hopefully he's not having sidebar conversations with dude. So
What we got to do, guys, is try to be good stewards of information.
Yeah.
I think the best thing, because I'm gonna pray that he does get a retrial. I really do want to see this go back to trial. I really do. I don't think that young man deserves 35 years. I said that multiple times. With that being said, I think we need to be good stewards of information, and we need to come on here and have very adult conversations like we're having this afternoon about how can we better improve what we're currently seeing, what we currently see going on. We just have to learn more and more about what's going on. Shout out to Miles says, after learning more about the new judge, Anthony legal team will have to be better. Yeah. I agree, Miles. I agree. Miles, you got to let me know if Dr. L covers this too. Shout out to Dr. L, y'all. I'm trying to give y'all great positive content. People who don't go crazy, they just giving you straight content. Dr. L is another good one. He gives very unemotional, unbiased content. So that's one of the biggest things, not trying to pull on people's heartstrings. I just want everybody to be aware of like what's actually going on, because I just feel like, man, a lot of this stuff is them putting wool over our eyes. Like, oh, he got a new judge. Oh, we gave him the worst judge in Texas. Like, okay, do anybody on those steps that are cheering knows what about this guy? Is anybody doing their due diligence to have that discussion? You know what I mean? Superman said, just participating in the discussion seems to be acceptance and culpability.